When you're standing in a music store, staring at a wall of keyboards, it's easy to feel the pressure of making the right choice. You don't want to spend a fortune on a workstation that ends up sitting half-used, and you certainly don't want to buy a cheaper unit that can't keep up when your ideas start flowing. That tension is what I'm trying to cut through today. I'll walk through the real-world experience of the Roland FANTOM 08 Essentials bundle, the moments where it shines, the places where it asks for a compromise, and help you decide if it truly fits the way you make music. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the bundle isn't just a keyboard, it comes with a full-size, weighted 88-key piano action, the Frameworks standard keyboard bench, the Frameworks Deluxe X-style keyboard stand, and a traditional sustain pedal. For a home studio or a small rehearsal space, that means you can unpack, plug in power, and have a complete workstation ready to play within minutes. The first thing I noticed during my Hanson session was how quickly the keys responded after powering the unit on. The ZEN-core engine boots up without a long wait, and the SuperNATURAL Ton engine is already humming with a rich piano sound that feels more like an acoustic instrument than a digital patch. That immediate readiness matters when you're trying to capture an idea on the fly. The day-to-day workflow with the FANTOM 08 is built around its 16-part multi-timbral capability. In practice, that lets you layer a piano, a synth pad, a bass, and a drum machine all within a single project, and then assign each part to a separate MIDI channel if you decide to route them to external gear. I set up a typical songwriting session. I started with a grand piano patch for the chord progression, added a subtle analog-style pad for texture, then dropped in a bass line using the built-in synth, and finally programmed a basic drum groove. All of that stayed inside the keyboard, and I could switch between parts using the touchscreen without having to dive into menus. For a composer who likes to sketch entire arrangements in one sitting, that fluidity saves a lot of time. However, the same depth can become a source of friction if you're new to deep MIDI routing. The workstation offers a wealth of parameters, filter envelopes, LFO destinations, articulation controls, and while the interface is designed to be intuitive, the learning curve isn't flat. I found myself spending a few minutes each session just to remind myself where the layer button lives, especially when I was trying to mute a part without affecting the rest. If you're a hobbyist who mainly plays chords and melodies with a handful of sounds, you might feel that the extra layers are more complexity than you need. One of the hidden trade-offs shows up when you consider the physical footprint. The keyboard itself is a solid, 88-key unit with a weighted hammer action that mimics a grand piano. That weight contributes to a stable feel, but it also means the whole setup, keyboard, bench, stand occupies a sizable chunk of floor space. In my own apartment, I had to rearrange a bookshelf to make room. If you're working in a cramped bedroom or a shared studio where space is at a premium, you might need to think about a more compact alternative, or be prepared to dedicate a corner to this rig. Value for money is where the bundle really earns its stripes. The individual components, a premium 88-key keyboard, a quality bench, a sturdy stand, and a sustain pedal, would each cost a few $100s separately. Roland's decision to package them together brings the overall price down by a noticeable margin, and the convenience of having everything match in style and finish is something you rarely get when you buy each piece on its own. The 4.8-star rating from nearly 400 reviewers suggests that most owners feel they've gotten a solid return on their investment. Who should consider buying the FANTOM 08? If you're a serious composer, a performing pianist who wants the feel of a grand piano combined with instant access to a full suite of synth sounds, or a producer who likes to keep every instrument under one roof for quick arrangement, this workstation checks a lot of boxes. It's also a good fit for educators who need a reliable, expressive keyboard for teaching both classical technique and modern production concepts. On the flip side, if you're a bedroom hobbyist who primarily uses software plugins on a laptop, or if you're looking for a lightweight, travel-friendly synth, the size and depth of the FANTOM 08 may feel excessive. You'd probably be happier with a smaller, less feature-rich keyboard that still plugs into your DAW. Practical strengths are evident in the sound quality and the integrated workflow. The SuperNATURAL engine delivers piano tones that hold their own against sampled acoustic pianos, and the synth section offers a diverse palette ranging from classic analog emulations to modern digital textures. The multi-timbral setup means you can run an entire band from a single keyboard, which is a huge